Good morning, family. Happy Wednesday. Happy full moon today. The energy is a little bit intense today. It's very important for us to ground, right? To move the energy. I went to work out early. I went at 7 because I hadn't worked out in a few days. But definitely ground, hot shower, or, baths, whatever cools you, calms your nervous system. I definitely got my little workout in because I needed it. Move the energy. I don't feel like working, but it will get done eventually. I'm going to tap into the things that I want to do and the things that fuel me and fill me. And so with this full moon, a lot of the outer planets are in fire and air. And so energy is wild. And this is a very significant full moon to read up on it and what it's here to do. What are the cycles that you're meant to close and all that stuff. And then Saturn is in retrograde. And so Saturn is in retrograde until December 10th, which is my birthday. But Saturn is the guru planet, the planet of wisdom, the planet of discipline, the planet of karma, the planet of divine timing. And so there's so many lessons that are coming to us in these 5 months that Saturn is retrograding. And this is a time to get in alignment with our higher self, to get in alignment with God's plan for us, with the reason why our soul came here, right? The reason why our soul came on earth at this time, right? During this great awakening. And so use the energy to get closer to who you came here to be, to get closer to, being in alignment and all that stuff. And so as the energy is wild, make sure you soothe yourself, right? Again, I took a really hot shower, washed my hair, worked out, gonna eat some high vibrational foods. I did have a second coffee, so caffeine, pero pa'lante. So I want to read you guys God in a Costume, remembering who you are, right? Who you really are, by Angie Peguero. I'm going to read a few more pages of it. So the next chapter is called The Layers, and it goes like this. We have established that you are born perfect, whole, complete, nothing missing, and then life began. Life as the game, and in the game, you started collecting things. Layer by layer, piece by piece, you picked up beliefs, stories, rules, and wounds that had nothing to do with your nature, with your true nature. But because you arrived veiled, not remembering that you are a soul having a human experience, you didn't know that. You held on to everything, and you wrote it all like it was yours, but it wasn't. Think of it this way. You came into this world, think of a newborn, with an empty backpack, right? Just pure soul with a body, nothing attached to it. No fears, no rules, no stories. Just you, open and ready for the experience of life, right? And then the outside world got to work. People started putting things into your backpack, right? Fears, rules, wounds, beliefs. And you carried it all without ever stopping to look inside and ask, does this actually belong to me? And while they were filling your backpack, they were also dressing you. Here, wear this belief. Put on this story. This is who your family needs you to be, right? The people pleaser, self-sacrificer, right? The person who had no needs and just sat in the back, no voice. That was me. This is what society expects from you, right? This is what God looks like according to us, right? According to us. White male, a human being, right? Sound familiar? Layer by layer, costume by costume, the weight on your back grew heavier, and the person in the mirror started looking less and less like the soul that arrived, until one day you couldn't find yourself underneath it all. But here is what is important to remember. You were never lost, just buried underneath things you unknowingly collected. And everything that was put in that backpack, everything you were dressed in, None of it was yours. Not truly. It was just collected. And the good news is that what has been collected can be put down. The things you collected came from everywhere. Your family handed you their fears and called it protection. Society handed you its rules and called it normal. Religion handed you its stories and called it truth, right? Stories. They're legit stories. And then we have what we all call trauma. Those deeply painful moments that didn't just hurt you. They impressed themselves onto you. So they created psychological and emotional blockages on you, right? On your aura, on your nervous system, right? And they left a mark so deep that your whole nervous system started building a life around them. You didn't choose any of it consciously. You were just a veiled soul expressing yourself through this body and personality, trying to make sense of a world that had already forgotten what it was. And so you built a self out of borrowed things, right? You're trying to make sense of a world that has already forgotten what it was. A world full of human beings that think that all they are this human. They forget that. They forgot that they were souls and that they were all divine. And so many centuries of just being programmed as these identities, right? And so now, here is something worth pausing on. Look at the word belief, right? Belief. Right there inside the word, hidden in plain sight, is the word lie. And what exactly is the lie? It is any story that was handed to you, repeated enough times that it became your personal law, that ruled your world. The lie is the story you made universal. The lie is the thing you stopped questioning because everyone around you believed it too. The truth is that there are only 5 universal laws. Everything else, and we mean everything else, is a belief, a story, a perspective, a program running in the background of your life that you unconsciously installed, right? You installed it into your hardware. This program into your subconscious mind. You installed it, and you can uninstall it and install the shit you want, right? And so you went through life collecting borrowed things like a little thief. Of course, you were not stealing consciously. You were just picking things up that were never yours to carry. The you that is a soul does not need any of it. But the you that forgot, that one grabbed onto everything it could find to feel safe, to feel worthy, to feel like it belonged. Most of it was not the truth. Most of it was just programming of the people who came before you, who got it from the people who came before them, and so on and so on. Are you catching the loop and cycle? Religion is another curriculum. Religion in most of its forms, sold you a very specific story that you are flawed, that you are powerless, that you need saving, right? And it handed you saviors to look outside of yourself. Whether that was Buddha, Krishna, or Yeshua, right? Jesus Christ. These were all teachers, extraordinary, awakened, powerful teachers who came into this game, who fully remembered who they were, and dedicated their lives to showing you the way back to yourself. But somewhere along the line, something got lost in translation. Instead of taking the teachings and practicing them, instead of letting wisdom transform you from the inside, you were taught to worship the teacher. To put them on an altar, to make them so divine, so unreachable, so other that the distance between you and them felt infinite. And the distance created is what kept you powerless. Because in your mind is the voice that says, yeah, that was them, but that can't be me. And that's the voice that keeps you from fully embodying your God-given power. Because here is what every single one of those teachers was actually saying, in their own language, in their own time. You can do this too, right? They were not saying, worship me. They were saying, follow this way of being, practice it, embody it, and watch your entire life transform. I'll say that again. They were saying, follow this way of being, practice it, embody it, right? Become these teachings, and watch your entire life transform. They were teaching you how to embody being the God of your own reality. The teaching was never about them. It was always about you remembering you. And where it gets uncomfortable is that in order to transcend all of this, the layers of programming, the borrowed beliefs, the stories that were never yours, you have to be willing to acknowledge something that everything in your conditioning has trained you to resist. You are God. I'm going to leave it there. You literally are God. You're God. I'm God. My kids are God. The dog outside is God. The tree is God. Everything is God. And so we've been programmed to believe that we needed that external thing to talk to God, to connect with God. And that's where we all fucked up. But this was such a good read. I'll continue tomorrow. Peace out.